You guys want to find gold? I'm going to teach you the secrets of geology so you can find it. And along the way, I'm going to give you some of my tips and tricks so you'll be successful out in the field. See those mountains in the background? They produced over 2 million ounces of gold. You have to ask yourself, why did this area produce so much gold? And the secret to that is because it sits on the outer margins of a collapsed caldera. Most of your major gold deposits in the world actually sit on the outer margins of collapsed calderas. Now, why are collapsed calderas a perfect place to find gold? Because they create the perfect environment for epithermal and porphyry deposits. Now, for those of you that don't know what a collapsed caldera is, it looks something like this.
A caldera is a large cauldron-like hollow that forms shortly after the emptying of a magma chamber in a volcano eruption. The collapse is triggered by the emptying of the magma chamber beneath the volcano, sometimes as a result of a large explosion or volcanic eruption. The flanks of the volcano see fissure systems crack and open up as well. If enough magma is ejected, the empty chamber is unable to support its own weight of the volcano ephesus above it. Circular fracture or fault ring develops around the outer edge of the chamber. Ring fractures serve as feeders for fault intrusions, which are also known as ring dikes.
And the reason why that they're perfect for creating epithermal deposits and porphyry deposits, they generate a lot of heat off of that magma chamber. And as it rises, so it creates nice little fractures and fissures in the basement rock. As it begins to cool, steam comes off of it, mostly in the form of carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and water vapor. This is especially true if it's a felsic magma chamber. Now, the way that you get different compositions inside of your magma chambers is for a whole nother video. But just know there's 3 classifications for them: mafic, intermediate, and felsic. Felsic is going to be responsible for the majority of your gold deposits. Felsic is going to be anything high in silicon, like rhyolite, dacite, and of course its intrusive counterpart is granite in the granitoid family. Now, the caldera we're standing in right now is the Silver Creek caldera. It erupted 18.5 million years ago, and it was classified as a supervolcano. It was so massive, it ejected an ash plume with pumice and country rock as far away as Barstow and all the way into Kingman. And in fact, you can still see some of this ash flow in the form of tuff outside of Kingman, Arizona on the interstate. It's called the Peach Spring tuff. Thickest parts of the ash flow tuff was recorded at being 140 meters deep. In fact, if you look up on the ridge here, you can still see remnants of it. Right there. See that white band all the way across? That's part of the ash flow tuff that was ejected out of this supervolcano. Here's a good example of the ash flow tuff that was ejected out of this caldera. Now, keep in mind, after a massive explosion, all that material goes up in the air. A lot of it's going to come right back down. And that's exactly what this is. And this tuff extends all the way to Barstow and to Kingman, if you can imagine how large that is. The only thing we have that's even close to that is Pinatubo and Krakatoa. And those were very minuscule compared to the size of this eruption.
Here you can see the west side of the caldera has completely eroded away, leaving only the east side, which is west of Oatman. In this aerial view, we're looking northwest. You can see the moss mine in the background, which is on the outer margins of the collapsed caldera.
And the reason why I'm telling you this is because if you start looking for these collapsed calderas and you overlay it with MRDS, and then you overlay that with known mining areas, and then a geological map, you're going to see a large pattern start to form. And that will tell you exactly where you need to prospect for potential lode deposits. What you're looking for is any of the fault systems that are radiating out around the fracture rings of these collapsed calderas on the outer margins. And sometimes these fault systems are actually going to cut through it. Those fault systems are the ones that are going to be the richest. We're currently sitting on the Mallory fault line, which extends all the way into Oatman, and it connects up with the Tom Reed mine. This is a hydrothermal deposition model. It has a 75 to 80 degree dip, and it trends to the northwest. The values on this vein start off at 1/4 ounce per ton on the surface, and at 55 feet, it reaches 1.5 ounces. Now, the quartz vein itself is hosted in green chloritic andesite. And it looks like this. It's got chloride in it, and that's important. We'll cover that later. Now, on this vein, you're looking for any iron staining with black specks of manganese oxide running through it. Those are going to be the areas that produce the most gold. Now, when you're sampling lode deposits, there's several ways you can do it. Once you've done your research and you know what you're looking for, you can go around the mine dumps and you can pull out grab samples, or you can actually take chip samples off the vein itself, or what you can do is get yourself a small hammer drill, battery powered, and you're going to literally drill into areas that have high mineralization in them. And you're going to collect that up and then pan that directly with jet dry. This area is so rich with gold that they're still mining it today. I'm sure you've heard it. It's called the Moss Extension Mine. It's a large open pit heap leach, and they're getting about 1.5 grams per ton.
Original Moss mine was found in 1863 by Johnny Moss and was so rich that they pulled out $240,000 in gold out of a 10-foot hole. The mine is currently owned by Vertex Mining Corporation and is being developed by open pit mining using heap leaching as a method of extraction of metals. After the blasting cycle is complete, the ore is removed and hauled to a series of crushers where it's brought down to a very fine size of a 1/4 inch mine. The ore is then transported on the huge leach pads where it's leached out using sodium cyanide.
Now, a couple websites you're going to use to help facilitate locating these places is mylandmatters.org. And the nice thing about that is it's got a feature on there where it has MRDS, so you click it and it'll actually show you those reports. The second one is mindat.org. This is a fantastic site that gives you more supportive information on the mines, type of material they were mining, all this other information you're not going to find on MRDS. It's fantastic and it's very supportive. This is the shaft of the Moss mine. The shaft drops down 800 feet, but luckily there's a plug here so I don't fall into it. You can see that it's cut in this beautiful rhyolite. The host materials were quartz adularia, calcite, and hematite. This is a classic example of the hematite that they were finding that was extremely rich. This is the original rhyolite dike that Johnny Moss found back in 1863. And if you recall what I told you earlier in previous videos, this rhyolite can host some of the richest gold deposits you'll ever find. And I'm sure there's still plenty of gold over here as well. We're on the very outer margins of that caldera. Now the placer deposits out here are obviously derived from the Lode deposits. Now for placer deposits, you're gonna look at Silver Creek, and you can see a large percentage of that around Mount Hardy and over on the south side of Boundary Cone, which is a rhyolitic intrusion. But make sure you do your research first to make sure you're not claim jumping, because a lot of this area is claimed up, especially by the locals, and they wouldn't appreciate you coming out here and claim jumping. In fact, speaking of locals, if you do go into town, ask them. Some of them are kind enough to show you exactly where the placer gold's at. Now I'm sitting on top of a small feeder dike, a basalt dike, and what's nice about these is that they cross any type of a potential gold-bearing wash, and because it's such a hard material, it resists erosion, and it's perfect for capturing fine pieces of gold. So if you're gonna sample, this is what you're looking for. And if I was you, I'd go out and get a nice dust buster, and it's got a trap in the end. That's very important because you don't want all the material to come out. What you're gonna do is vacuum up all these cracks and crevices. Now, the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna mark where that came from, because out in the field, you're gonna take maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 samples. You're gonna forget where they all came from, so make sure you mark it. This is gonna give you a snapshot what might be coming down through these washes. And that's very good if you're gonna be dry washing for placer gold. When you're running samples, make sure you use jet dry in the water. Very important to break that surface tension, because if not, that ultrafine gold will literally float on the top of that water. Now, if you want to run your chip samples or your grab samples in the field, I highly recommend getting one of these. It's called a Mighty Mill, and we got it from Southern Oregon Prospectors. Thanks, guys. It's great for running small amounts. And I have to stress that again, small amounts. These are not production mills, okay? You'll burn these bearings out and the motor if you run this thing continuously. And don't put something too big inside of these feed tubes because it'll jam up. Now, I got all the samples that we collected up today. I have to break these down so they'll fit inside of that feed tube. So we're gonna run them down and then pan them out and see what we got. Then we're gonna go ahead and pan out this guy right here to see if we got any placer gold in it. So keep in mind, if you're running soft rock like limonite, it doesn't need a screen because you'll plug the screen up fast. But if you're running really hard rock like quartz, put a screen in it. Yeah, you see what I mean? I jammed that screen up because it had some of that limonite from the Moss mine. All right, I'm losing my sun fast, so I gotta hurry and pan this out. And yeah, you're gonna get wet. Yeah, there goes my sun. All right, let's take a look. Very, very fine gold. Remember, when you're checking Lode gold, bring a jeweler's loop. 10 times is perfect. There's definitely gold in it. It's really, really tiny. So what I'm gonna do is I'll put a snapshot up at the end so you can see what it looks like. All right, let's pan out the placer gold and see what we get. See what we get. All right, let's see what we got. Look at that, little tiny pieces of gold. I don't know if you can see it. I'll throw a snapshot of that up too, see it? Little tiny pieces. Now before you go running out here, make sure you check land status, okay? Now if this video has enriched your life in any way, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed and smash that like button. And if you want to join our community of like-minded gold miners, go ahead and become a premium patron. We have multiple tiers for you to sign up to, and it's a great place to meet other people who want to find gold just like you. You want to learn geology so you can find that gold? Follow all my tips. You'll do it, but you'd better do it before you're too old. Take care, everybody.
Okay, we're right here on the other side of the hill. We're exploring Tecopa mines today, the Gunsight mine in particular. For more info, get Tecopa Mines by Ken Lenger and George Ross.
It is nice, isn't it? Wow, look at the pick marks. I always love looking at these pick marks. That's history right there. See that? Beautiful. This is all cut in gneiss. Because gneiss is nice. There's a lot of volcanic rock here, a lot of basalt that's intruded up through this gneiss. You got granitic rock and you got gneiss. You can see the biotite, mica in there, quartz, feldspar, and you got a little hornblende in there too, which is in the affable family. Just for you guys at home, this is a haulage drift. Somebody came out here a long time ago and they found something high in the mountain, so they drove this haulage drift in to get underneath it. And that's why this thing goes back nice and straight. That's how you can usually tell if it's a haulage drift or not, because haulage drifts, they're nice and straight, they don't deviate, they don't have any stoping. They go right back, they're usually cross cuts, and they get right into the vein and start stoping up or driving winzes down. But look at the ties here for the track. See how they're worn down here? They were actually using mules in here to haul the ore cars back and forth. They had 5, 6 ore cars in tandem, like a small train. And they had the trammer riding on the back of them to make sure that there wasn't any issues. But that's why these ties are worn down, because of the mules that were stomping on them. Look at the size of that rail. That's a good sized rail right there. That almost classifies as narrow gauge. And look at this big old pipe right here they use for compressed air for the drills. I'm assuming that the majority of the workings is this way, because I don't see any track going that way. And if I need to take a little break, guess what? I'm sitting right here, sitting. A bit of ground fall right here. A lot of powder. Dust on the floor. Here's our first bin. Horseshoe. That means they got stopage up above. This thing is full, solid. Ooh, I'd hate to have this thing open up on me. You can barely make out some of the track right here that they were using for the switch. That is cool. And this would go over to a chute.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of powder from the blasting in here. And then this one just goes back to a chute that looks like it's full. It's open. I got a lot of air blowing out of here, so this obviously daylights. We'll check him later. It looks like a lot of people going up behind, but I'm gonna keep following those tracks, see where they go. Yeah, this rock has all been fractured and crushed. Obviously there's nothing in it. Got a little bit of hematite staining. Obviously nothing to write home about, because they would have mined the heck out of it. These guys didn't mess around. Real quick for you people that don't know, spiling is where you have a cave-in or loose rock or a lot of ground fall, and you have to dig into it and drive your lag in. A lot of times they'll push the lagging in first and then dig out underneath it. And that way it'll hold. And the way you can tell is see how the lagging has been pounded up here on top of that cap, and here on the sides it's been pounded in. That usually, right here too, usually that indicates what's called spiling. And they usually do it where they're trying to dig through loose ground, or if it's coming down. Now this is cool right here, besides that toilet paper. You can see where they got to this point and they realize that they need to make a quick left. I don't see any faulting, I don't see any fissures or fractures to indicate we should make a left, like this was into a crosscut, but we'll go check it out. You can see where some of these timbers are under a tremendous amount of pressure. That's another indicator for spiling. You have this particular board sitting on top of these boards, and the reason why is they'll drive from the back, and when they get to this point, there's a space there where they can drive the lagging into for the next set. They use it, like I said, a lot when they're having cave-ins or soft rock after they've already tunneled. We're starting to finally get into some mineralization right there. It's the same thing we've been seeing. The only difference is we're getting a lot of gneiss over here as your basement rock. And there's a lot of shale in this as well. We got another split. So they got a lot of stopes above us. I don't see a lot of mineralization. There's some silicification of the vein material right there. Here's a natural fissure in the rock. Look at this.
Yeah.
Right through here. And there's a lot of moisture and water up there. These are so cool to find, especially these caves. And this is a great place for hydrothermal fluids to flow up into and create those big, juicy white quartz veins. I got a August 20, 1917? Yeah, that looks like 1917 right there.
I've seen similar on boards.
Not bad.
Where it's this.
There's another one right down below it. 1919.
And it looks like that as well.
Here, this crosscut is finally tapped into this vein structure that they've been looking for. It's got a dip of about maybe 45 degrees, and they stoked the heck out of it. So this is a major level right here. I can see where they've been backfilling these stopes. Somebody's gone through and collected up artifacts and laid them out for us here on this beautiful looking beam. They had something here, probably a compressor or maybe a vent motor, I don't know, but it's gone now. And all of this has been backfilled, all these stopes, which means that these stopes have played out long, long ago. Over here, I've got this beautiful hoist. Single drum hoist. I got this nice winds that goes down. But this is history right here. History that can't ever be replaced. And I get yahoos coming in here. They come in here and they take this stuff apart because they want to try to cash in on it. In the process, they destroy history. This whole thing has been destroyed. You can see where they're trying to get this out for the metal. That just grinds my gears. This is history you'll never get back. And you know they're not going to get this thing out. It's too heavy. It just drives me crazy that they're going to tear all this stuff apart for a couple bucks that they're going to get at recycling this metal, which can never be replaced, ever. Why don't you spray paint on it too while you're at it? Sorry, I had to get that out because it makes me mad. Here's a water tank. That's for the drills. Same composition that we've seen in the other mines. A lot of galena, a lot of silver. Got some zinc inside of this. And you even got some gold. Now the assay reports show that this is only the best that they got was maybe ½ ounce per ton. And that's super high grade compared for what this mine was pulling out. And you had a lot of galena in here and you had a lot of silver. And you can see some copper in here on the outer bands of this vein structure. There is gold in here, but I don't know if there's gonna be enough to pay the bill. But I wanted you to see what they're chasing. I always like seeing these copper carbonates, and you got some silicates in there too, which is the chrysocollus running through this rock too. It's really pretty. It's obviously they hit this pocket and they started following it down, which like I said has a dip of a 45-degree angle and it has a east-west strike to it. Oh wow, look at this stope. Look at this. This is what you'd call a glory hole. There's millions of ounces in Freddy's glory hole. Wow. You imagine the scaffolding it would take to get up there with your jack legs and drill? And if you're not using jack legs, you'd be using column drills, which is even worse. But man, to get the scaffolding up there and the drills, oh. And they have a special drill that they use for this. It's called a stoper drill. Now you have jack legs that are used for drifting. Look at that. And then you've got stopers, which are only designed to drill straight up. That's their only job. Yeah. That is cool. That looks like a ride at Disneyland right there. Mm-hmm. That is fun. Could you imagine you running a stoper in here and you're working that stoper? And everything's coming down in your face and you better hope you don't dislodge a large slab of rock. It'll crush you. I don't think you should take that column there, son of Jim.
They got just a little bit greedy.
But I think they took every speck of ore out of here. You see all the shear zones up there. There's faults that run through there. East and west faults. Look at that. And you can see the material right there they're chasing. See all that? Isn't that tasty looking? Right in through there. And that explains what that winze is back there that we saw. Because in order to get this ore out, they go down underneath it, and then they drift across, and then they start driving a raise up into it, and then they'll open the raise up, which becomes a stope, and everything falls down, across, and then they pull it up. I would definitely go after the hematites. Anything that's got blood red in it is what I would go after.
Gotcha.
Now, a lot of the silver was found in these other bands on the outer edges here. Okay. And close to these iron, this albite.
Okay.
It's so pretty. My hands are so fast.
I'm not quite sure why they do that, but
Look how tiny these stopes are.
so he kind of feels like that's
His loyalty.
me. We gotta have
Amazing.
Budweiser man myself, but
There's some wolfenite crystals right there. See that? Beautiful wolfenite crystals. These are the pockets that you look for. Problem is it's extremely brittle and you don't want to move this because this will collapse right here. Ooh, yeah. Oh, it's a stope forest. Oh, look at that column. That's a juicy looking column. Ugh. I want to say there were mining stalls down here too. Look at them all. It's an absolute forest of them. Oh my gosh. You guys want to work out? Try doing some shaft work. Jeez. Look at those stalls. There's hundreds of them. Absolutely amazing. Look at that.
Look at the size of this drill rod.
Ooh, that's a huge stope.
Yeah.
Man, there's just stalls everywhere. There's a massive, massive chamber below us right now. Look at that. Look at that. And up above, look at all those stalls. Look at all those stalls. That's just insane. There's some kind of a bag. Maybe there's some ore in it. That's just incredible. It's because all this stuff is so soft on the back. It just wants to peel off.
Crumbling.
Yeah.
So they shored this all up, which isn't real
Look at that.
comforting. But then below,
There's the rest of the crew up there
looks
coming
to be
down.
a monster of
Coming down the
stone.
shaft.
So we may be just like right at the end of-
It keeps going down. We gotta go
something
check it
from
out.
another level. So,
We're coming down. There are no ladders, but I've got stoles to grab onto. I've got this huge open chamber. Let's take a look. That old familiar smell. Look at that. See if I can turn the light on. Look at that. Pull that a tremendous amount of ore. These are not exactly the best ladders to be going down. In case you want to see what I look like. Going down. Oh. This is just all just choked out. Look at that. The rock is really soft. Oh my gosh. Oh. I'll tell you what, you get a workout doing this. That's nice. You touch the rock and it decides to move. Wow, look at that big giant chute down there. Look at that. That's definitely level. You can see where they're using that chute to fill up the skip car. So they would dump everything from here into the ore bin down there. Oh my gosh, the ladder. Oh, the ladder disappears. What do you know? Look at that. Oh, it keeps going too. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay, let's see the ladder.
that. There's an ore car buried in there. You see it? It's upside down. It's just a box though. There's a level right there. This is probably the lower level to pull the ore out. If I had to guess. Yeah. There's some dynamite boxes. There's a good ladder right there. Look at that. Ooh, that one's all choked out. It's all plugged. It's all plugged. Let's take a look. Some of that beautiful ore. Some of that beautiful ore. This just goes to a chute. This is what they filled up to get over to here, and then they would dump there, but that's all plugged. Look at that. It just keeps going down and down and down. Got a bunch of newspapers. I wonder if I can find a date on these newspapers. See if I can find a date on these newspapers. This is all choked out. Those stopes have probably all filled most of these in, if I had to guess. They're just massive. Hey, look at that. Jeff, 1941. What do you know? I was down here before. Look at that. Isn't that a cool shot looking up? It goes all the way down, keeps going down. Looks like I got a drift back there somewhere. I gotta go check that out. It's not exactly the most stable. Alright, we're gonna go check it out. These rungs look really bad. I want you to see this rung. Look at this. There's my finger for size comparison. You see that? It's only that thick. That's how far worn it is. Alright. Let's see what we got. Alright, I've got no ladder at all. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. The ladder's all busted up. Got rocks everywhere. Looks like this was another drift right here. See that? Oh yeah. Look at that. Looks like that goes somewhere. Gotta find out. There's that ore they're chasing. Right there. Oh, I hate that. Oh, looks like they were gonna drift that way instead of here. I don't like that either. Looks like someone's been throwing rocks down here. I guess that's the bottom. Yeah, that's the bottom. Oh wow, you can see where people have been scurrying down through here. I should have brought a dust mask. Yeah, right there, see that? Look at that. Should have brought a dust mask. There's the drift. Oh look, there's an ore car. Look at that. Look at that. That's how big the hole is. Alright, I'm gonna go through the tight squeeze. I see an ore car. Okay, I'm in. There's the ore car. I'm in the bottom. That's the end of it. All right, up at the bottom, I'm coming up.
Who needs a gem? Just be a gold miner or a gold mine explorer. Beautiful carbonates and silicates of copper. That's why I always bring a rock hammer. Look at this. Isn't that pretty? Copper sulfate, copper silicates, copper carbonates. Good stuff right there. Look at that. I'll get some pictures for you guys later. Some close-ups. Oh, it looks like malachite up in there too. Ooh, I feel air too. We're at the very bottom of the massive stope. Look at these chambers. Just... That's got to go up at least a good 100 foot.
Oh yeah.
All right. Send the young ones in first.
Wedge. All right. Oh yeah, I get to stretch my leg real good, like right there.
Just let me know if it's worth it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there's really not much anything. Well, that's a shady rung.
Yeah, you can smoke too soon.
All right. Yeah, this is the skip that they would do their tools on.
What?
I was just looking at the rung. Not very much substance there. But it's still strong. All right. Okay, let's see. What have we got here?
How's it looking, Christopher?
There's all sorts of tunnels going up through here. And then once you get to the top of the ladder, you walk about 6 to 7 foot toward another ladder that goes up a whole bunch further, just like this one.
I'm assuming it goes all the way to the top of the mountain.
I would think so.
Is there anything worth looking at?
I'll walk through a couple of these real quick and see.
Copy.
One looks like a dead end, but I'm not too far, or not too sure how far back it goes in there. I'll take a quick look here in a sec.
Copy that.
That one goes a good ways. Okay. Oh, somebody's got a shelf. Oh, almost looks like a real good. Okay. Oh, there's that. This looks like a really fun slide. You're gonna catch me?
You betcha, but you gotta take them pants off.
All right. It's a doozy, but the rungs look a lot. That's not even touching. That looks really sketch. That layer right there does not look at all safe. All right. Okay. It just keeps going up. Right. Oh, changeover. All right. That is very sketch. Oh, okay. I'm not sure if I can even make it up there. Yeah, but there's a will, there's a way. All right, let's do this. Uh-oh. Well. Oh yeah, that's doable. All right. Okay. There we go. Oh, wasn't so bad. Oh. So pretty. Horseshoe. Okay, where's this go? Oh, what do we got here? What's that? It's some kind of a box. This looks like an ore box. How cool. Huh. Interesting. No base to it. Huh. Interesting. Ooh. All right. That's one way to get you to pay attention. What? Wow. Holy moly. This is incredible. Look at that column. All sorts of stuff. All sorts of activity. Alright. Another column. Ooh. Oh. Boy. All the work they did back in the day. Without half the equipment we've got today. Oh, that looks heavy. Alright. Oh shit, that looks heavy too. Oh. Woo! And that don't look too pretty, does it? Well, that's a lot of weight right there. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and go up to... Oh man, that whole thing's buckling. Now look at that column. Oh, yeah. Wow. Man. They were definitely masters of the trade. Okay, so what is this right here? There's another ladder, but it doesn't lead you very high. Right, well, the ladder going up. Why don't I remember that? Okay, yeah. Let's do it. That's the one missing. Alright. Let's go ahead and keep her steady. Keep her steady. Alright, there we go. Alright.
Oh, look at that view. There's the ore bin down there. And there's the rail line. And they used to have a double bucket gravity tram here. This is the upper ore bins. What a day, huh guys?
What a day.
Yes.
What a day.
So we went ahead and explored the heck out of this. Of course we didn't cover it all. There was so much more to see. This mine is a monster. It's huge. But we ran this guy up maybe 100 feet of ladder. No, it was more like 1,000 feet of ladder. You got lost up in there. The stopes are huge. This mountain is hollow. Anyway, we're gonna come back with ropes because there's just so much to see. This whole mountain is just, it's unbelievable. It's a mine explorer's playground in there. And don't forget to hit that like button because it helps me out. So come on, let's go!